Hello everyone, welcome to this session dedicated to preparing for the AZ 104 exam. My name is Jackton. As we embark on this journey together, our goal is to dive deep into the key concepts, challenges, and solutions that you might encounter in the AZ 104 certification exam. For those of you who may be unfamiliar, the AZ 104, also known as Microsoft Azure Administrator, is a certification that validates your skills in implementing, managing, and monitoring an Azure environment. It is a significant milestone for anyone pursuing a career in cloud computing and Azure administration. Today's session is designed to be interactive and engaging. We'll be going through a series of review questions that touch upon various aspects of the AZ-104 exam blueprint. These questions are carefully curated to not only test your knowledge, but also reinforce important concepts that are essential for success in the exam. Whether you are gearing up to take the AZ-104 exam or simply looking to enhance your Azure skills, this session is tailored for you. Feel free to actively participate, ask questions, and share your insight on the comment section of this particular video as we navigate through these review questions. First and foremost, who are we? We are 591 Lab, and our site is 591lab.com. Pronounced as 591 Lab. 591 Lab is the top IT training and certification exam brand in China, Hong Kong, Taiwan, and Singapore. Our mission at 591 Lab is to provide our clients with exceptional exam preparation experience for Microsoft, for certifications in Cisco, Huawei, Aruba, Juniper, Microsoft as mentioned earlier, and Azure certification tracks. So without further ado, let's jump into the world of AZ-104 and explore the ins and outs of Azure administration. Let's get started with the agenda. The agenda for the review questions today will revolve around the following. 1. Virtual private network. 2. Network security groups. 3. Azure Active Directory. So let's begin with the first question. Number 1, your company has virtual machines, VMs hosted in Microsoft Azure. The VMs are located in a single Azure virtual network named VNet1. The company has users that work remotely. The remote workers require access to the VMs on VNet1. You need to provide access for the remote workers. What should you do? All right, before we tell the exact answer, let's proceed to the Microsoft whiteboard and also the Azure portal, and then I'll demonstrate the concepts within the virtual private network. So if you have two environments, you have on-premises, you have Azure. So within Azure, you have resources are located within what we call the VNet virtual network. And then on the on-premises, you have your network boundary, the network boundary. Inside this network boundary, inside your network on the on-premises, you have your servers and your client computer machines. This belongs to the users, client computer machines, and you have your servers as well. And then on Azure side, you have the VMs which are hosting your workload, the VMs. So if you want to connect this entire site on an on-premises network to the Azure virtual network environment, the sort of VPN connection that you will implement is site-to-site VPN. Site-to-site VPN. And then if you have a remote worker who is working remotely and they also want to access these particular workloads existing inside these VMs on the Azure VNet side, so you will implement a point-to-site VPN, point-to-site VPN. So both site-to-site VPN and point-to-site are secure, and the traffic is over the internet. Secure traffic is over the internet. Traffic is over the internet. and the security measures that I've implemented for that IPsec tunnels that you'll implement. So let's go to the Azure portal, and then I'll showcase to you how do you get to implement point to site, for example. So if I go to my Azure portal, you'll need to navigate to your Azure Network Gateway. So I already created one Azure Network Gateway called 591 Lab Gateway. I'll proceed to 591 Gateway, 591 Lab Gateway, and then go into point and site configuration, and then click on configure. So under address pool, I'll put IP address range that will be assigned to the remote workers computers. So these are a pool of IP addresses, and then I'll choose the tunnel type, authentication type. If it is, I need them to use an Azure certificate or Radius authentication or Azure Active Directory. So depending with the authentication type chosen, you'll have to do the configuration. If it is Azure certificate, you need to implement the certificates. So this is the point to site implementation process, how you go about it. So let's go back to our question. So our question was in terms of the was majorly focusing on the company has users that work remotely. So that means we'll go with point to site VPN. So it's not VNet to VNet, it's not configure multi-site, it's not site to site VPN, because this one is connecting the entire site on the on-premises to the Azure site which through the site to site VPN tunnels. So as we discussed, the correct answer is C, configure point to site VPN. Question number 2. You're an Azure administrator for a company. The company has an on-premises network that includes several Windows Server virtual machines and an Azure virtual network. You need to ensure that the VMs in the on-premises network can communicate with the VMs in the Azure virtual network. What should you use? So, as discussed, you kindly on the comment section, kindly indicate your answer as discussed, and then we'll review the answers. We'll review the answers on the comment section, because this is one of this question relates to the initial question. So I'll be able to review the answers and provide the precise answer on the comment section on this particular video. Thank you. Let's proceed to question number 3. Network security groups. Question 3. Your company has an Azure Active Directory subscription. You need to deploy 5 virtual machines VMs to your company's virtual network subnet. The VMs will each have both a public and private IP addresses. Inbound and outbound security rules for all these virtual machines must be identical. Which of the following is the least amount of security groups needed for this configuration? So let's go to the Microsoft whiteboard, and then I'll go to the portal as well, Azure portal as well, to showcase to you. So while on Azure on the Azure whiteboard, so I want to indicate to you how network security groups work. Network security groups are what we call, in short, we call them NSGs. So these are they are like firewall rules that you get to implement within Azure side, firewall rules. So what happens is that when you have a virtual network, you have a virtual network, this is VNet, and you have inside the VNet you have the subnets. This is a subnet, you have another subnet, and then in every subnet you have VMs, for example, VMs. So network security group, so when you have users, access to these VMs is happening from the outside. Let's say, for example, RDP access for login to this particular VM. So let's use these first subnets, subnet 1, subnet 2. So let's use the first subnet. So when these user who is sitting outside here with their machine wants to log into this VM sitting on this particular subnet, that traffic needs to be enabled through the NSGs. That traffic needs to be enabled. So for RDP, we know very well the port is usually 3389. So this port needs to be open on this particular subnet, or rather on the VM, on the NSG. So you usually implement network security groups, and these network security groups can be attached to a VM itself, can be attached to a VM, or it can be attached to the subnet. The best recommended way by Microsoft is to attach the NSG on the subnet. So attach NSG on the subnet, not the VM. This is the recommended method. Attach the NSG on the subnet. So when you attach the NSG on the subnet, so when the traffic comes, it hits the NSG that is on the subnet, then that policy is reviewed, and then if the traffic needs to be allowed, then the user will be able to log into the VM. So in this case, remember, all these VMs are having their public, let's say they have all the public IPs. So when they're having the public IPs and private IPs, each and every VM has got what we call virtual network interface card. That is the NIC, virtual interface card. So every VM here has got virtual network interface card. And as mentioned, you can attach NSG on each and every virtual network interface card belonging to each and every VM. But that is not the recommended way to attach the NSG. The recommended way is to attach the NSG on the subnet level, so that when traffic comes, it hits the NSG on the subnet. Then if the traffic is allowed, it goes to the virtual machine. So let's go back to the Azure portal, and then I'll show you. So I'll go back here. So we'll go to a virtual network, for example. So the virtual network in this regard is let's take an example of 591 lab VNet, and then under the 591 lab VNet we have subnets. So as mentioned, we have resources on this particular subnet. So my VM that I've created belongs in this subnet 1, and then the gateway, the virtual network gateway that I created is on gateway subnet. So if I want to attach NSG, network security group, I'll attach the network security group on this particular subnet. So how do we create a network security group? So you go to you just search for NSG security group. So you create one. So I'll touch this. I say 591 lab NSG. So then tags, environment, then learning, review, and create. So create. So after creating it, then I'll touch this particular NSG on the subnet. So I'll go to this resource, I'll go to the NSG itself, and then check on, you see, I can attach this NSG as created to a network interface. That is, if I want to attach it to a particular VM as indicated, or the best way that I've mentioned, you attach an NSG to a subnet. So I'll go to the subnet and then associate, and then click on the drop down. That's the virtual network that has been picked automatically on this resource group, and then click on the subnet is selected, the subnet, and then I say okay. So this NSG has been attached to this particular subnet, so meaning the traffic coming into this particular virtual machine hosted in this subnet, this traffic will need to be analyzed from the NSG attached to these subnets. So let's go back to our question. So it's saying the VMs will each have both public and private IPs. Inbound and output security rules for all these virtual machines must be identical. Now the inbound and security must be identical. Which of the following is the least amount of security groups for this configuration? So as we've seen, the answer here will be 1, because as we've seen that the NSG needs to be attached to a subnet. That's the recommended, and we only have one subnet here. So that is the reason why we are going with one NSG that will need to be attached. It's not 4, it's not 3, it's not 2, it's only 1. Next question. So next question still relates to NSG. This one you'll answer on the comment section. Then we'll also provide the answers as the interaction goes along on the comment section. Okay, your company has an Azure Active Directory subscription. You need to deploy 5 virtual machines to your company's virtual network subnet. The VMs will each have both a public and public address. Inbound and outbound security rules for all these virtual machines must be identical. Which of the following is the least amount of network interfaces? Remember, now this is asking about network interface need for this configuration. So as mentioned, the network interfaces for virtual machines where we attach public and private IP addresses are separate for each and every VM. So how many VMs do we have here? We have the number of VMs to be 5. So that means if we have 5, then each and every VM will have their own NICs. So we have 5 NICs, 5 network interface cards for each for all the 5 VMs. So the answer here will be 5. Next question is in regards to Azure AD, Azure Active Directory. You have an Azure Active Directory Azure AD tenant named contoso.onmicrosoft.com that contains 100 user accounts. You purchase 10 Azure AD Premium P2 licenses for the tenant. You need to ensure that 10 users can use all the Azure AD Premium features. What should you do? So I'll navigate to the Azure portal and then I'll showcase to you. So in terms of licensing, so what we need to do, Azure AD, just search for Azure Active Directory, which is currently called Microsoft Entra ID. So if you search for Azure AD, it will take you to you can see here Microsoft Entra ID. Click on the Microsoft Entra ID, then it will open the Azure AD, the old Azure AD. That is currently called Microsoft Entra, and then you'll go to what we call you want to assign licenses to users. So you purchase licenses. So if you purchase licenses and you want to assign them to users, you go to the section written licenses. You'll find all the purchase licenses. So you'll see all the licenses you've purchased. So as of now, I don't have any licenses. So after you've purchased a license here, so you will request that license to be assigned to a particular user. So this is where you get all the products, you'll get all the licenses listed here, and then you can just click and assign those particular licenses to a particular user. So let's go back to the question. So you need to ensure that 10 users can use all the Azure AD Premium features. So what you do from the licenses blade, so A says from the licenses blade of Azure AD assign a license. That is true. That's what we've seen, that to assign a license you need to go to the licenses blade of the Azure AD, which is currently called Microsoft Entra ID, and then assign the license. So that is the recommended way. It's not B from groups. Don't this is not recommended, but this is not the right answer to assign the users licenses from the Azure AD domain. Add an enterprise application. This is out of or out of the topic from the directory role blade, each user modified. This is in terms of directory roles. This is not addressing licenses. So the correct answer here is A. So, conclusion. Thank you all for attending today's class, I591 Lab. We hope you find the material informative and helpful. Remember, practice is critical to mastering any new skill, so review the course content again and keep practicing with 591 Lab. Help and support. If you have any question or concern, please don't hesitate to contact us. We appreciate your participation and look forward to seeing you in the future classes. Have a great day. Thank you.